Hello learners. Learners, welcome to my channel all about education. Today I will tell you about how to make lesson plans of science in English language, in the medium English. So this is for B.Ed students especially, that how they can make lesson plan. What are the rules, what is the format, etc. I have talked about it in my earlier video. So you can visit my channel's playlist about the lesson planning and know the format and how to write objectives and all. So this is just an example of a certain topic which I have taken to explain to you about the lesson plan. Before starting that how to make a lesson plan, you must understand that what are the cautions one must keep in mind while making this lesson plan. So as they have been enlisted in front of you, that whenever we begin the lesson plan or the main teaching of the new topic, the teacher must test the previous knowledge of the students, what they know about the topic related to it, what they have learned in the earlier classes, or do they have certain general knowledge on that topic, etc. Then whatever the teacher is going to teach in the class, the teacher must have complete content knowledge. That means you have to prepare beforehand when you are going to teach in the class that particular topic. Other than that, a teacher must know the psychology of the children. The teacher must give individual attention to the children. Whatever the learning theories you must have studied in the psychology paper, you must understand the psychology, the psychological level of the students, and accordingly you have to teach the plan. Second thing is that whenever you make a plan, it should be according to the child's ability, what the child can grasp, what the child is interested in learning. According to that only, according to that format or style, you have to present the lesson. And another thing is that while making lesson plan, you must understand that what method is to be included, in which methodology the lesson is to be presented, what are the techniques the teacher must keep in mind, and does teacher put forth the activities or experiments or perform certain activities or experiments in the classroom, so that the content is presented and understood by the children very well. Then the another point is that you must keep in mind that you have set or determined certain objectives, and you must make the lesson plan in such a way so that you can achieve those objectives. And the lesson plan should be interactive. That means you must ask questions and you must try to extract answers also. So there should be probing, questioning and answering. So in this way we move on to lesson plan 1, and you can see the format in front of you, that first you have to put the date and then you have to write the subject. Usually in lower classes it is just science, but as you move on to higher classes 8th, 9th, 10th, you get the science subjects distributed into chemistry, physics and biology. Especially in NCERT books, you must have seen that there are all the 3 sections, but in ICSE and all you have different books for chemistry, physics and biology. So you can mention that in brackets whether it is of the chemistry or physics or biology. When we make lesson plan of biology, we prepare it differently. We write a subject as biological science. Here in certain schools or certain colleges, it has been seen that subject is mentioned as physical science also. On the other side, on the right hand side, you have to write the class in the section and the period in which that lesson plan is scheduled, that subject is scheduled, and the time of the period. It may be 30 minutes, it may be 35 minutes, and it may be 40 minutes according to the school. Now before that, beginning the lesson plan, the proper lesson plan, you must write the general objectives. I have talked about general objectives in my earlier videos. Please go on and check it and try to understand what these general objectives are. Usually general objectives are concerned or referred to the subject. So here we are talking about the subject in general objectives, under general objectives. So what is the main aim or what is the main objective? Generally, if we talk about that, the teacher should try to develop the interest for that subject, that is here it is science, in the students, so that students develop scientific attitude, they are able to think critically, they are able to reflect in what is going on in the classroom or what are the activities and so on. So in this way general objectives are written. Then we move on to the specific objectives, and the specific objectives are concerned with the topic. Here the topic is graphite, and which is one of the allotrope of carbon, and there is one full chapter in class 8 which is the carbon compounds, and this is one subtopic from that lesson. See learners, we can make many lesson plans from one lesson. Each lesson has to be distributed into certain sections or portions so that you can make one lesson plan. So in a lesson or in a unit, you can make 3, 4, 5 lesson plan depending upon the length of that topic. So here we are going to make the lesson plan on graphite, and on graphite, based on graphite topic, we are going to frame specific objectives. There are certain specific objectives which are divided into 3 domains: cognitive, affective and psychomotor. Cognitive related to head, and affective is related to heart, and psychomotor is related to hand, that is skills. So moving on to head part, that is knowledge, the students will be able to define the allotropy. Obviously you are going to tell the definition about allotropes, about the allotropy, and about the various forms of allotropy, examples of allotropy like diamond, graphite, coal, etc. Then students will recognize the properties of graphite. Whenever they see graphite in front of them, they will be able to recognize what are the properties usually graphites have. Next specific objective is understanding. Understanding here means that the child will be able to gain the knowledge and also understand it in so that he or she can express it in his or her own words. And here understanding is related to again mind. So the student will be able to describe the allotrope of carbon, graphite, and the student will also be able to distinguish graphite from other allotropes. The student will be able to tell you or compare the one allotrope, that is the graphite, which we are taking with other allotropes like diamond, gold, etc. Maybe you have taught diamond in your earlier class, so the child can compare it. Then affective domain is related to heart. That means here the student will show interest. Interest is related to heart, to the feeling, to the emotions. Next is application. The students will be able to tell the uses of graphite which we use in daily life. For example, the pencil we use, it is good example of graphite. Then the child will also be able to analyze that how the structure of graphite is. So you will be able, the child will be able only if you tell the structure properly of the graphite. Then the last one is related to skill, which is psychomotor, that means related to hand, and obviously the child will be able to draw the structure, the child will be able to write answers and all. Here the teaching aids are, as you can see, it is written. Then you have to write about the previous knowledge. Obviously the child, you have already taught something about the carbon, you must have already taught about diamond. So the child is already having a previous knowledge about allotropy, and he knows the example graphite as one of the example of allotropy. Now we move on to introduction. Introduction is related or based on the previous knowledge. The child will answer the questions the teacher puts up before the child, before the student, which is based on the previous knowledge. That means the child will be able, the student will be able to tell the answers. Now the pupil teacher is showing the pencil to the students and asks questions. What is this? The students, we expect that the student will answer that this is a pencil. And now the teacher will ask what is its pointed part. The child will answer, obviously it is lead. Usually children say it is lead, it is lead. So they have general knowledge about this. Now the teacher asks, pupil teacher asks, do you mean it is the element lead? The child will say, no, it is not lead, that particular lead, which is Pb, but it is, we usually call in common language, in layman language, lead. Now the pupil teacher asks, what is its color? The children, some will say black, some will say grey, and so on. Then the teacher will ask, what is this black lead of pencil actually? If it is not lead, Pb, then what is it actually? It will become a problematic question because the children do not know the answer. So here you will write, the children give no answer, and thus it becomes a problematic question. Then comes the statement of aim. The pupil teacher will answer this. The black portion of pencil with which we write is called graphite, and then the pupil teacher will write this topic on the blackboard, graphite, and then say, today we shall study about this in detail. Now, this is the new content. Earlier it was introductory based on previous knowledge. Now this is the new content, and these questions are known as developmentary questions because the lesson plan is developed on the basis of these question answering, that is the interaction, and the teacher then gives the explanation of the new content. So it is a developmentary question. The lesson, the topic is developed slowly and steadily by asking questions and by giving explanation. For example, the first topic or teaching point the teacher is taking is graphite. The students will, what is the expected behavioral change? What do you want? After teaching this, what do you want the change should be in the students? Obviously, you know that the child will be able to tell about graphite. That is why you are teaching graphite. So the first expected behavior we will see is that student will know about graphite. Now the teacher is asking question, pupil teacher, why do we burn lamp? Students will answer, we burn lamp for light. Why do we usually use to burn in lamp? So usually the students will say, usually we use kerosene oil. What is deposited around the glass of lamp? The children will say there is a black powder or black substance in the glass of the lamp. Now the teacher will ask, what is that black thing? Obviously the children will not be able to answer because this is new for them. And the method used here is, the method or methodology used is questioning and answering. Now the explanation teacher gives, because the students are not able to answer. Here you will not write problematic because it is not problematic. You are going to teach it, so it cannot be termed as problematic. So here the teacher will give the explanation about the carbon and the gist, the summary, the short of this proper paragraph is written on the blackboard. So you can see the blackboard column where the pupil teacher will explain this, that the black thing is carbon and it is present in many form around us. One of them we use in pencil and in, you have seen in kerosene lamp also. And then on the blackboard the teacher will write, graphite is one of the allotrope of carbon. This is the first point to be written on the blackboard. While writing on the blackboard, the pupil teacher will remember that all the entries which he or she has done in the beginning, the date, the subject, the topic, the class, the time, all that should be written on the blackboard also. And then the teacher should write the content, that this one graphite is one of the allotrope of carbon. So this should be done gradually in proper manner. The blackboard summary, the blackboard work should also be properly formatted. Now we move on to second teaching point, which is the structure of graphite. Now here, when we explain, as you have seen in this specific objective, that the child will be able to understand the structure of graphite. In Psychomotor, we have written that the child will be able to draw the structure of graphite. So here the understanding part comes. What is the shape of graphite in pencil? The children will obviously answer, it is straight, long, rod-like. Now the pupil teacher will ask, what is the total structure of graphite? Obviously the students do not know because they have not studied. Now the teacher will explain them that what is the structure of graphite, that the carbon is surrounded by 4 atoms. The 3 atoms are properly bonded in a strong bond, but the 4th electron remains free, and this 4th electron gives it the slippery touch, and this 4th electron is joined to another carbon by van der Waals force, and so on. And in this way we will tell about the structure of the graphite to the students. And here you have to write down lecture cum demonstration. Lecture cum demonstration, why? What you are demonstrating? The pupil teacher will make a chart paper of which miniature will be pasted here. That means you have to take a full chart paper in the class on which you will draw the structure of graphite, and the miniature of that chart paper will be stuck here. And the methodology will be lecture cum demonstration. That means you are showing the chart paper and explaining with the help of the chart paper. And also you will write one line on the blackboard that graphite has only 3 valence electrons bonded properly and the 4th is free. That is why, being a non-metal, it becomes a very good conductor of electricity and heat, though it is a non-metal. And you know non-metals are bad conductor. But why is graphite? It is an exception. Why is graphite good conductor? Because of this 4th electron. So now the children have the knowledge of its structure also. Third teaching point is nature of graphite. Nature of graphite is again that whichever point I told you in this portion, it will be carried on to this. Here you will be giving the knowledge to the students, and now here, for an element to be a good conductor, what is required? The students will tell that metals are good conductor because they have free electrons, and similarly non-metals do not have free electrons, that why they are bad conductor. Now the pupil teacher will explain that due to the fourth electron, graphite being a non-metal, still it becomes a good conductor. So on the blackboard, the pupil teacher will write all these properties of the graphite. Next is prepare graphite. Now teacher will ask, how can graphite be prepared artificially? Students do not know. So here again the pupil teacher will explain that it is made from coke by burning it in electric furnace at high temperature, and then this sentence will be written on the blackboard by the pupil teacher. Now last teaching point is uses of graphite. Learner, please try to keep your lesson plan neither too long nor too short. It should be appropriate for, say you must be giving at least 20 minutes to the main part of the lesson plan, and 3-4 minutes you can move in for the introductory question, and 2-3 minutes for asking recap questions, and 1 minute to write homework on the blackboard. So in this way, divide your 30 minutes properly. So last teaching point is uses of graphite. Then here you can ask, can you give the uses of graphite? The children already know that there is one use which is in pencil. Maybe somebody will tell you about the kajal also, but now you will explain as a pupil teacher that it is used as electrode and it is used to make diamond also, and this you will write on the blackboard also. Now this blackboard summary, after the lesson plan is complete, this blackboard summary, whatever you have written on the blackboard or blackboard section, this is summarized on a black paper sticked at the end of this lesson plan, and this is the way it will be represented on the board, and this is the way you will write it on the black paper with the help of silver pen. All the main points are highlighted on the blackboard summary. Now what will happen? After you have finished the lesson, the blackboard work is done, you will instruct to the students. Whenever you are teaching your lesson plan, you will speak out that the teacher will instruct the students to copy down and text from the blackboard and will supervise the class during this exercise. Now you will, as a teacher, when you are going to teach the lesson plan, what will you say? Students, now the lesson is complete. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, and otherwise you can copy down the work, the blackboard work, in your text copy. Do not allow the students to copy blackboard summary when you are writing. It should be done at the end of the lesson. Now after the students have done the work, they have noted down the blackboard summary, you rub the blackboard whenever you are in the class. After rubbing the blackboard work, now you ask the recap question or comprehensive question. They should not be very long questions. They should be very short questions. They should be objective type question. For example, the questions written before you are here. After you have asked the questions, you can give the homework on the blackboard, or you can write it on your roller board and present it before the student, and do not give too much homework to the student. Then last topic in your lesson plan is reference. That means you have to write the name of the book, the writer, the publisher from which you have made this lesson plan. So this is one of the example. I have given another example of subject science. Here I have taken physics. Earlier it was of chemistry, now it is physics, and here we are talking about force and its types. So again, general objectives are related to science and specific objectives are related to the topic force. In the specific objective knowledge, we will talk about recall and recognize, which we have talked in a specific objective video already. You can go and watch that video and understand how we write specific objective. So in knowledge domain, we will talk about recall and recognize, and in understanding the child, we will be able to comprehend the topic we have talked. In application, we will talk about how the student can use this knowledge in daily life. And then affective will be related to heart, that is interest, eagerness, inquisitiveness, and all these objectives will be used here. Then comes the psychomotor, where skills, so this child will be able to perform the skills or do numericals based on the formula of the force, etc. Then comes the teaching aid. Whatever aid you are using chart paper or model or activity here in this lesson plan. Then previous knowledge. What does the child know about the previous knowledge? These lesson plans have been published in my book, Physical Science of Agarwal publication. So this is my own work and my own developed lesson plans. These are not copied from anywhere. So, previous knowledge, here the students will be able to understand, will be able to deliver what they already know. So, the children know what is force, they have general knowledge about the force, and then the pupil teacher can ask the students about previous knowledge by putting some questions. So, here I have put certain questions, introductory questions, and the last question becomes problematic. Then comes the statement of the aim. When the question becomes problematic, the pupil teacher has to answer that problematic question. For example, here teacher has answered, this push or pull is called force. And today we shall study about force in detail. Now we come to the presentation developmentary question. Here the pupil teacher asks about the force, and some general questions are answered by the learners. But when the learner is not able to answer, it is not problematic. When the learner is not able to answer, the teacher will explain because it is a new concept. This is a force which gives motion to static bodies and brings to rest a moving body. This is lecture cum demonstration method. Why? Because teacher is demonstrating the concept of force with the help of a ball. And the main gist, the main line is written on the blackboard. Then the teacher moves on to the types of forces. For this again, the pupil teacher asks, how do we pick up an object? The student will obviously answer, by our hands. And what do we need? How do we hold those objects? With the help of fingers, with the help of hands. So then the pupil teacher asks, to hold the substance, to pull the substance, what do we need? Or what type of pull is it? The students will not be able to answer. The pupil teacher again give the explanation. And this in short, this will be written on the blackboard also. It will become the definition of muscular force. Then we move on to magnetic force. Similarly, some questions can be answered by students, and then a question comes, what is this pull called? The child does not know. Then the teacher explains that this is known as magnetic force. And again demonstration, because teacher is demonstrating the concept of magnetic force with the help of bar magnet. So it becomes, the methodology here used is lecture cum demonstration method. And then you will write on the board the definition of the magnetic force. Then comes gravitational force. Again you will explain, ask some question, then explain. And here also you will demonstrate, because you throw the ball up but it comes down. Why? Because of gravitational force. In this way you will give them the definition of gravitational force and write it on the blackboard also. Then frictional force. Frictional force, you will roll the ball and ask the students about this rough surface and smooth surface, and then give the definition, and then you will write the definition on the blackboard. Now you can see there is a good summary on the blackboard. Now you will give instruction to the students that note down this blackboard summary which you have written on the blackboard also, and in the lesson plan you have written on the black paper with the silver pen. And after this, giving the instruction, the students will note down this blackboard summary, and after that you will rub the blackboard and ask students to close their copy so that they do not see the work written in the copy. And then you will ask certain recapitulatory question, so that you can revise a little bit what you have taught in the class. Then you will give some homework, not much of the homework. And lastly, you will write down reference from the book you have made this lesson plan. Just write down its name, author and publishing house. So in this way, I have presented 2 lesson plans in English of science subject of class 8. I hope you must have understood. For more lesson plans, if you want lesson plans in Hindi, I will be uploading another video in Hindi of the lesson plan of science, and you can go through it. So please learners, watch my videos on general objectives, on specific objectives, on the format of lesson plans, and then this is the example, and in this way you